Hey everybody, it's been a long time. I've been very sick. It's been interesting hearing the things that have been going on astrologically and energetically from other people. Back in January, I lived on a boat. My boat caught on fire. It took me a little while. The thick black smoke, I couldn't understand why my flashlight wasn't working. I was on board when it happened, and I couldn't understand why isn't my flashlight working. And there was nothing wrong with my flashlight. It was just that the smoke was so thick. It was almost like having some kind of material or fabric, which is what it was. It was burnt fiberglass. Just completely envelop you. And I did breathe in a lot of this stuff. I went back in 3 times. It took me, the first time, I didn't understand what was happening. The second time, I went up to get some air so that I could try and put the fire out. And the third time, I went up for air because I wanted to try and gather some of my things. You know, just simple things like my wedding bands everything was in my bag that I carried. You know, little trinkets that Eddie had given me. And it's not a coincidence. Today would have been our 9th anniversary. 9 years, huh? And all of the stuff that's going on energetically, the closing of cycles, the purging, for whatever reason, about 3 weeks ago, the stuff that I breathed in decided to start coming up. No offense to anybody in the industry, but I don't have a whole lot of faith in mainstream medicine. And I have my reasons. I don't have anything against them. It's just not for me. So finally, because people that are close to me, you know, were very worried. I mean, I was coughing up just masses of black, fibrous, just yucky stuff, and it had blood in it. And that's been in my lungs since January. And now is when the purge decides to happen. The trip to the doctor was a great big waste of time, a great big waste of resource. She listened to my lungs, this sweet little thing, and told me, your lungs sound absolutely wonderful. Then she proceeded to write prescriptions that I told her I couldn't and wouldn't take. That was my experience with mainstream medicine. So 3 weeks later, I'm doing a little bit better, but I did switch over to some of the things that I'm familiar with to help heal. Yesterday, a new friend, but a true friend, another classmate. You've heard me talk about class if you've listened back to the videos. He's very knowledgeable in what I call earth medicine. And we just happened to, he says, hey, how are you doing? And I told the truth this time. And he was exactly the one that needed to help me. He's given me a little regimen that I'm going to follow. Starts off with a 3-day water fast. And, you know, it's like I told him, I says, I just don't have any appetite. And he says, well, your body's telling you to fast. And it makes perfect sense. So I'll be letting you know how this goes. But another thing that came of this, excuse me, I'm still trying to get this stuff up. Another thing that came of this was I was literally forced to stop. I mean, physically stop everything. Completely bedridden, except for just, you know, getting up to use the bathroom for a few days. And then pushing myself through the other times. But I've been able to look around during this time when I've had to stop doing for everybody else and stop, encouraging everybody else and trying to make sure everybody's happy, which is in my nature. I just don't like people unhappy. So I've had to do that. And some things came out. When I made a trip back up recently, where I was from, where the fire happened, that area, I didn't get to see everybody I'd planned to see. I had business to take care of too. But the people that I did see, I was meant to see. And there are people that I love dearly that I've learned have been using, my trauma, my hardship, and trying to spin it towards themselves to get some kind of, oh, they helped me so much is what they want to tell everybody. And that's okay. If that's what they need to do to feel that way, I had a thought of confronting them and saying, but it's just not true. But why? That's what I said to myself. Why? What would come of it? An argument. And I realized that was me wanting to strike back, which is in our human nature, but not in our divine nature. We realize things happen for a reason. Sometimes you have to love somebody enough to let them walk off of the cliff. Sometimes they find out they can't fly, and sometimes they do fly. So that's something to keep in mind. Even if it's within your power to help and to so-called save somebody, perhaps you're not meant to. But other things going on, like I said, what's coming out of my lungs is representative of the nastiness, the ugliness of, I loved the place. I still love the place. But I've heard a lot of things going on that I would have been right in the middle of. And when that person said those nasty things to me that night, and the person that I thought was my friend didn't take up for me, and then so I went and sat in the woods all night and just thought, like me, go in the woods at night is really cool. It's interesting. Don't be afraid. Learn what the sounds are. And the next morning, I just gathered all of my stuff that I had left that I could, and I just hauled ass. I said, no, this isn't right. So I followed that intuition, and what I'm seeing that happened, that intuition was right on. But those things are hard to do. Letting go, walking away, starting anew. Those things are very hard to do. I'm lucky enough to have seen the full cycle, the fruition of it, to tell me, yes, you were right on. I don't enjoy being sick. I don't get sick. I haven't been sick like this in years. But sometimes it's needed. Sometimes it's more than just a physical ailment. And this does get kind of close and kind of personal. Because I'm seeing the cycle change, not of who I am. I'm still Mandolin. That's who I am spiritually, divinely. But it's like I'm shifting into a different phase. I'm having to, instead of running around on this and that and the other, I'm having to stop. And sometimes I kind of see things like in slow motion. And that's interesting. Because then you pick it apart. And you see it for what it is. I had some things. I saw some very good friends of mine. They were friends of Eddie's, and I inherited them, and I'm very, very fortunate to have them. But one of the sweetest, most loving people in the world, all she was doing was trying to help and give me advice And I was so frustrated about all the advice that everybody's given me about getting better and nothing's working. And, you spend all this money trying to get better. And her name is Venus. And I sat down later and I'm like, oh my God, I was a bitch to Venus. And so that can be taken a couple of ways. But I immediately sent her a message because it was late and I knew she wouldn't answer. And I immediately sent her a message. And she responded. And she understands. And she knew that that was out of character for me. And she also said that it had been hot. People had been working hard. And she took on responsibility for maybe, her being a little pushy. That's what we're supposed to do. We don't do everything right. We don't get every emotion right. We work our way through it sometimes, and the humanity in us starts to come out. And that's okay, because that's how we grow. It's funny with everything going on this week. I've got an astrologer that I enjoy watching now. Alex from Coyote Star Astrology. She just makes everything very simple and very understandable. And she was talking about the time for purge. This stuff that's been in my lungs since January is coming out now during these energies. I've got friends diagnosed with mental illness, and that's something else I really just want to get this little thing in there. I've been diagnosed bipolar, manic depressive, severe depression. Well, look at my life, do you think? But at the same time, mainstream people don't understand. They just don't understand. Don't call it mentally ill. We're dimensionally aware. We slip into different dimensions, different realms, different energies. And that's not always a bad thing. Yes, we do need to learn how to recognize and control, the episodes, what goes on. Sorry, I've got bugs flying in my eyes. But that's part of it. And sometimes we find one of my friends, she's had severe manic episodes, apparently all of her life. And they keep putting her in the damn mental ward. And she said something very interesting. She said, they say it cycles. She says, why don't they just let me complete a cycle? Bingo. Okay, yeah, let her complete a cycle. Let it come to fruition. There's so many of those things that we struggle with. Chewy's wandering. But that's part of it, because we need to understand each other. We need to give each other permission to be who we are, to work through things, to love each other unconditionally. And that's something you're starting to see more in the world. But I just wanted to saw some really cool things. Yesterday, the sunset, it's like the sun was speaking to me. If I can get that video to go kind of decent, I would love to share it. I'll have to see how it came out because I was driving. And then the night before that, it never rained, it never thundered, but I call it echoes of lightning in the clouds, but it was pink. I'll try to get those videos up. I'm getting very tired very fast right now. My body's trying to heal. But this is day one. I've started the water fast today to, get it clearing out. Let all of my energy, instead of energy going to digestion, the energy is going to go to the healing. And I don't know that I'll share exactly the remedies, the medicine, the earth medicine that I'm going to be utilizing. because I don't know that it would be right for everybody. But I want to give you guys an idea. Look, I went to the doctor. I paid all this money to go have somebody tell me that my lungs, which breathed in burning fiberglass, 4 or 5 months ago. Oh, wow. It's 5 months today. January, February, March, April, May. No, 4 months today. That my lungs sounded great. And I'd been hacking up fibrous black jelly goo with blood in it. But my lungs sounded great. Trust your instincts. Trust your intuition. I've still got things that I'm working on. I'm going to start diving a little bit deeper into my QHHT. I'm finding people are being brought to me. The ones that need the healing are the ones that will be brought into my path. But I just wanted to let you guys know I'm still around. I didn't beam up. I didn't leave terra firma, so to say. I'm still here. And I am still 115% dedicated to this mission of healing. I'm finding groups of healers coming together. And we're helping each other. We got to get right so that we can help the masses get right as these things come about. There's so much turmoil. I don't want to hear about abortion. I don't want to hear about impeachment. I don't want to hear about, if you can't put compassion in there, don't even say it. Those are things to distract us. We already know what's going to happen. We already know what it's going to come to. But let me say that I'm honored to have so many wonderful beings on this journey with me, participating in my journey so that I can fulfill my purpose. And as each one of us embarks and fulfills our purpose, it's a chain reaction. We're building the army, we're building the legions, we're coming together. And it's not about a fight, it's about getting right. And this is going to be a beautiful existence. But thank you everybody for wanting to do better. I ask you to love unconditionally, even when it's not easy. And I ask you to forgive, even when it seems like that's the hardest thing to do. And reach out. Be honest. It's about authenticity. It's about being your true self. Had I not told my friend the truth, when he says, how have you been doing? Oh, been busy, doing it. No, I told him, I said, I have been very, very sick. And, maybe you can help. And he says, absolutely, I can help. He's going to, we're going to chat every day so he can track my progress and make sure that I am doing good. See, this is the personal side. Mainstream medicine has been industrialized. I'm not questioning the intention of these wonderful people that want to go out there and help, but they're caught up in the beast. It's about making money, Time is money. Let me sit out here and wait for an hour and a half, and then I spend 5 minutes with you. No. Yet someone that isn't even interested in charging me a dime right now, because we know that we're going to help each other energetically back and forth anyway, is personally, going to be there every day for me through this and help me through this and help me heal. That's the personal side. That's what it's supposed to be. But they're caught up in this industrial beast. It's all part of this great big thing out here that's been controlling us. The medications that they have, I'm not saying there's not any good medications. And I'm not saying people should just run out and stop taking medications. But don't put your whole stock, your whole life in a pill or a shot that some person made because you want to get better fast. This is going to be at least a week-long regimen and not the easiest thing to do. For a lot of people, maybe not for me, I don't know. So far, I'm fine. But The quick fix isn't a fix. It's a Band-Aid. It's putting the rug over the trash that you swept up into a pile. Change is the only constant. And we can do this. We can all get through this together. I have so much love in me, and I want to share and help so much. And I want it to happen fast. But no, there's things that I have to do within myself first. And that's why I got stopped in my tracks. That's why I was forced to sit around and observe and do a little, paperwork, legwork, research legwork, instead of hands-on, being out there and putting all my energy out. I've learned lessons. I've learned things just through this. And I intend to be a better me because of it. If I can help any of you be a better you, please touch base. Leave a comment. I'll hook up with an email. That's what it's about. It's about helping. It's about growing. It's about co-creating, because we truly are creating the new earth, the new way of being, which the divine feminine's coming in. Sophia is going to speak. Sophia has started to speak, and I'm not sure when it's going to come out for the public, but I've heard some of what Sophia's saying. Beautiful, beautiful woman that's all of a sudden started channeling Sophia. I mean, she did all along, but she literally says, I'm going to do this. And the things that are coming out are absolutely beautiful, eloquent. So I don't know when that's going to happen, but when there is, there's a heads up, and I will link you up. In the meantime, follow your gut. Take care of yourself. Love unconditionally. And sometimes you got to give some people some slack, because they're going through things too. I love you all. Continue the healing. And just remember, every day, just breathe in the love, which is kind of hard for me to do right now. And just breathe out the gratitude. And live within that construct. You'll find healing. You'll find joy. I promise. I love you all. And have a beautiful, wonderful day.